Hey everybody, how's it going? For those of you who are curious, I only a few days ago got back from a trip that started for me when I went to VidCon. Did I mention how awesome VidCon was? If you didn't see the video I made about it, you can go check that out. There'll be links, or it's in my channel, or if you don't care, don't go watch it. Whatever. Your choice. I won't judge you. I'll cry, but that's on you. The trip, I pretty much break into two parts. I spent a whole lot of time in Copenhagen, Denmark, and I also went on a cruise with my extended family. So this video is going to be about the cruise. If you want to hear about Denmark, click here. My family has this tradition, it's going back a couple of generations, that the eldest member of the family every 5 years will take everyone on some huge trip to somewhere interesting or foreign or meaningful to the family. This year was a cruise in the Baltic Sea for my grandmother's 80th birthday. It started in Stockholm, Sweden. We stopped in Tallinn, Estonia, then headed to Russia for 3 entire days, then hit up Helsinki, Finland, and ended in Copenhagen, Denmark. It was probably the greatest 2 weeks of my life. Before we started the cruise and got on the boat, we stayed in a hotel in Sweden. The hotel we stayed at is called the Grand Hotel Stockholm, and it's the place where Nobel laureates tend to stay, so I was just kind of wandering around just being like, all of the cool people in the entire world have been here. But aside from that, the thing that really matters to me, the food. The breakfast buffet was phenomenal. They had everything from passion fruit, piles and piles of passion fruit, to reindeer meat, which although I don't eat, was kind of impressive they had, to a variety of cheeses, breads, cinnamon rolls, little delicious pastries, everything that was delicious. We spent at least an hour at breakfast every morning before we went out. The ship also had pretty fantastic food. They had a huge lunch dessert display, which was, aside from being phenomenally delicious, was incredibly beautiful. The boat also had 24-hour room service, which my sister and cousin and I took advantage of every single day. On the first day we got breakfast delivered to our room. We may have overdone it. We did eat everything though, so it was worth it. Most days we just ordered milkshakes or smoothies and sat on our little boat deck and watched the sunset over the water. Sometimes my life is just way too cool. Although we were only in Estonia for a few days, it was incredibly beautiful. We got to walk around all of town, which, although admittedly pretty touristy, was still gorgeous and had that entire European old feeling. Everything is just so old compared to here. In America, we've only been around for what? 200 years? 300 years almost? Huh, wow. Getting old there, country. But I digress. Anyhow, then we spent 3 days in Russia. It's a very cool country, but it's the kind of place that I never really thought I would go, especially considering the American-Russian relationship. To go to Russia, you have to get a visa or be working through certain travel agencies. For us to be able to go off on land without being in huge big tour buses with the rest of the people on our ship, we had to get a guide. Our guide's name was Maria.
First, you saw the big staircase, then the hall which gives you an idea of the Russian army, then come into the room where you are reminded about Tsar Peter and his victories over Sweden.
It was fantastic. She knew probably everything, honestly, everything. We went through the Hermitage, we saw a ton of gorgeous cathedrals, and she had a story to tell about almost every painting and about the walls and the architecture. The most fantastic thing to me about Russia was how well kept everything was. The government really put a lot of effort into keeping all of their buildings looking beautiful and as they had originally, restoring old architecture, regilding, and making a very conscious effort to maintain its country's history. Whatever you may think about it, the Soviet ruling in Russia definitely changed the architecture. Beforehand it was very gilded and golden and beautiful, and then they changed to a more, let's get things done, fixed, communist Soviet idea of how everything should go, and they lost a lot of the really gorgeous stuff. Some of the buildings fell into disrepair, but there's been a huge effort to restore all this old architecture. As you're driving along, you see buildings of beautiful pastels, reds and yellows and greens and blues, and they're all incredibly bright and vibrant, which means they had to be painted within the past 2 to 5 years because the paint fades so quickly. St. Petersburg, which is traditionally pretty gray and cloudy, just as its location is, the buildings really brighten everything up, and it's just an incredibly beautiful city. I had so much fun in Russia. The last stop on the cruise was in Helsinki, Finland. It was a little touristy, again, like Estonia, and we only got to spend a few short hours there. but I had a great time just walking around the city, absorbing all the culture. I didn't get a lot of footage from Finland because I was just too busy walking around and running back and forth and searching for parents. Then the boat arrived in Denmark and we all got off and family went separate ways. A few people stayed extra days. I got to stay a few more days. And if you want to hear about my time in Copenhagen, Denmark, go watch the other video. I already talked about it earlier, but you know, I'm shamelessly plugging. Anyway, there's a few other things for you to watch. Go, if you haven't seen them, there's my VidCon video, and there's going to be my video about Copenhagen. And for a very special short time only, my little sister talks about her day on the cruise in this. It's 10 minutes long, so watch at your own risk. She's adorable, and this is your only time to click on it. It's unlisted, so you won't see it anywhere else. Ready, set, go, gone. Opportunity missed. That is, if you don't know how to rewind. Anyhow, you'll see me soon, depending on if you click another video, or who knows when, because I'm lazy. Anyhoozle, what's it squared? I will see you all later. Bye!
I love to drink 7-Up and Scandinavia.